In the Chapter 20 Supplemental Homework Practice Problems, we are given in Problem 1 terms of 210 net 40, and we're asked what is the annual percentage rate if the discount is not taken. Well, one formula for that APR is simply the discount percentage, which if you want to think about, that's how much interest you'll pay if you don't take the discount and you pay the full invoice price. You'll pay 2%, and you were going to borrow 98% of the invoice by not taking that discount. You could have paid 98% of the invoice if you took the discount and you're over and done. If you don't take the discount, you're effectively borrowing 98% of the invoice amount. The invoice amount is arbitrary. If you wanted to calculate the amount of interest, and it would be 2% of the invoice amount, the amount you borrow would be 98% multiplied by that invoice amount. Well, those would just cancel out. So it's arbitrary. It doesn't matter how much the invoice amount is. It's just what percentage of discount you take, and 1 minus that, or effectively how much you are borrowing if you don't take that discount. We'll then annualize that. If you take the discount, you have to pay on the 10th day. If you don't take the discount, you have to pay the full 100% of the invoice amount on the 40th day. So by not taking the discount, you are gaining an additional 30 days to pay, or you are borrowing for 30 days. So we'll annualize this by multiplying by the number of 30-day periods there are in a year, 365 divided by 30. So there are a little over 12 30-day periods in a year. So take the 2 over the 98 and multiply by the 365 over 30 to annualize that, and you'll get 24.83% as your APR if you don't take the discount. By not taking the discount, you're paying a pretty large rate on that loan that the supplier is making you for those additional 30 days, paying on day 40 instead of paying on day 10. The effective rate is calculated by taking 1 plus that periodic rate, the periodic rate being the 2% interest you pay on the 98% loan. So each period there, each 30-day period, you would incur a little over 2% interest, 0.02, 04, 08, 1, 6, 3, 2, so on. To calculate the effective rate, I'll take 1 plus that periodic rate, and I'll compound that out however many times I need to during a year. Well, these are 30-day periods, so I'll be compounding that out a little over 12 times during the year. 365 divided by 30 is the number of periods. That exponent is 12.16666, repeating. So take 1 plus your periodic rate, use the y to the x key with 365 over 30 as your exponent. So let's do that on the financial calculator. I took the 2 divided by the 98 to get my periodic rate, because I'm paying 2% interest on 98 and a 98% loan. That's my periodic rate. I can add a 1 to that, and then I'll press y to the x to compound this out. My exponent will be the number of 30-day periods in the year. 365 divided by 30 is that 12.1666 repeating, and my result after using the exponent key is the 1.2786. Take the 1 back off, and the effective interest rate you would pay by foregoing the discount would be the 27.86%. So this product, the result here was the 1.2786. You take the 1 back off that you added there, so you're paying an effective rate of 27.86%. You could use interest conversion if you would like, since we already have an APR. Let's use the interest conversion on our calculator to calculate that effective rate. Second 2. Our effective rate is 24.83% from Part A. Enter it. Go up. The number of compounds per year was the 365 days in the year divided by the 30 additional days you get to pay if you forego the discount, was the 12.1666. Enter that as your CY. Go up to effective and recompute, and you get that same 27.86% that we got when we used the formula. So interest conversion on the calculator gives us that same result. In problem 2, it asks us to consider credit terms of 310 net 40. So it's similar to problem 1, except the discount percentage is now 3% instead of 2%. In part 2A, we're asked for the APR if the discount is not taken. So we take the discount percentage of 3 divided by the 97, and we annualize by multiplying by that same number of 30-day periods in the year, 12.1666, and I got 37.63% as my APR. To calculate the effective rate, you could do it like we did in problem 1. Take 1 plus that periodic rate, compound it however many times you need to, and take the 1 back off. Or we used interest conversion based on our APR and the number of compounding periods during the year. But another way to calculate the effective rate, which I think may actually be the easiest way, and it kind of helps us think about a sort of time value of money timeline here, would be to use the time value of money keys. If I don't take this discount, I'm going to pay 3% interest, okay? But on a timeline, I'm actually borrowing 97% of the invoice amount by not taking that discount, and then I'll have to repay 100% of the invoice amount. Again, the invoice amount is arbitrary. It could be $100, $1,000, $1 million, it doesn't matter. Just consider it $100 if you want to. Then you would be borrowing 97% of that, or $97 if you don't take the discount, and you'll have to repay the full $100. Now, that loan is being made for 30 days, so if we'll put in the number of years here for N, then we could easily compute percent per year, which is an effective rate. So what I've got to remember is how many years are involved in a 30-day loan. Well, it's 30 days out of a 365-day year. So it's about 1/12 of a year. So let's do that using the time value of money keys on the calculator. Second, clear TVM to start the problem. I'm borrowing $97 up front and repaying $100 at the end. My loan is for 30 divided by 365, or 8% of a year, about 1/12. And if I compute IY, that will give me my effective rate of 44.86%. Again, that is my rate per year because I put in the number of years. It was 30 over 365, or about 8% of a year, or 1/12 of a year. And that, if this APR here were compounded every 30 days over the course of a year, that would effectively amount to a rate of 44.86%. Problem 3 says, are you more likely to take the discount if offered the credit terms in problem number 1 or problem number 2 above? And explain. Well, if I just think about it, in problem 1 they were offering me a 2% discount if paid within 10 days and then net 40. In problem 2 they were offering me a 3% discount, pay in the same 10 days or net 40. So the only thing that's different is the discount percentage. So in problem 3, are you more likely to take the discount? Well, I would be more likely to take the discount if they offer me a 3% discount versus a 2% discount. So I'm definitely more likely to take the discount in the terms given in problem number 2 above because the discount is higher. Another way to say that is if I don't take the discount in problem number 2, I must be incurring a higher percentage cost to not take that discount. If I forego the discount in problem 2, I'm paying 37.63% interest by not taking that discount. If I don't take the discount in problem number 1, I'm, quote, only paying 24.83%. So it's certainly more costly to give up a 3% discount than it is to give up a 2% discount. It's pretty costly either way, but certainly more costly if the discount is 3%. So if something makes me more likely to take the discount, I'm going to incur a higher cost if I don't. So the answer was that I'm more likely to take the discount in problem number 2 because it's a higher discount I would give up, or I'm incurring a higher cost if I don't take it. In problem number 4, it says, which would have the higher cost of foregoing the discount? In terms of 210 net 30 or 210 net 40? Well, there would be a higher cost if it's terms of 210 net 30. Again, whatever causes you to be more likely to take the discount must mean you're incurring a higher cost if you don't. I am more likely to take that 2% discount if I would have to turn right around and pay the full invoice price pretty soon thereafter versus being given a whole lot of additional days. So if I don't take the discount under 210 net 30, I'm turning around 20 days later having to pay that full invoice amount. If I don't take the discount under 210 net 40, at least I have 30 days later to pay the full invoice amount. So I really don't want to give up the discount under 210 net 30 because it only gains me 20 more days. Another way to think about that is if you annualize your discount on 20-day periods under 210 net 30 versus annualizing it for 30-day periods 210 net 40, you'd be annualizing for a whole lot more periods under 210 net 30. You'd be annualizing based on 20-day periods, or about 18 times during the year you would annualize. For 210 net 40, those 30 additional days would be 30-day periods you'd annualize only based on about 12 periods during the year. So the 210 net 30 will have the higher cost of foregoing the discount because you only gain 20 additional days to pay, or you would annualize 18 periods during the year and come up with a really high APR if you don't take the discount under terms of 210 net 30. And that concludes the Chapter 20 Supplemental Homework Practice Problems.